video, and today's video is about dowry death and some of the acts relating to dowry death. In the initial beginning of the video, we are going to discuss about the present state relating to this scenario, and 304 BIPC 498 AIPC has been discussed. And in part of our proceedings, how to handle a living individual with a history of dowry, or otherwise there been a multiple assault on an individual, how to examine, how to carry out a medical legal part of examination, and in other circumstances where you receive a dead female of a relatively younger female with a history of allegation on the husband or on the part of in-laws, how to handle a case has been discussed. And in later section of the video, we are also about to discuss about a act which has been passed in 2005, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. And here in this act, even a part it has been addressed relating to dowry issues also. So we are going to discuss about these in this video. And in the most common scenario where a female or a newly married girl have been abused or otherwise harassed or cruelly treated, and even in extreme cases where they have been even tortured by the husband, in-laws and their relatives in connection with a demand of a dowry. And it is not uncommon in India. A daughter-in-law is subjected to burns by her husband on the in-laws at a stake of dowry, or else forced to commit a suicide. And even there have been another terminology called bride burning, where burning is the most common form of causing death in a daughter-in-law. And the figures are estimating of growing menace of the current scenario. And due to rampant practice of dowry, birth of daughter in a family is considered as an economic liability. And the new Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 has extended the definition of domestic violence, and it also includes dowry demands have been addressed. IPC relating to dowry death, where a death of a woman is caused by any burn or bodily injury or occurs in a manner other than under a normal circumstance within 7 years of her marriage, and it is shown that she was being subjected to cruelty or an harassment by her husband or any relative of an husband for or in connection with any demand of dowry. Such deaths are termed as dowry death. And there has been a circular from Home Ministry where if an age of a woman is less than 30 years and not under a normal circumstance, in a suspicious death or in a suspected death, even it also to be termed as a dowry death, and a part of investigation should start in that angle. And it is in a Home Ministry circular 304. And if anyone commits a dowry death, shall be punished with an imprisonment not less than 10 years, but which may even extend up to life imprisonment. IPC. Whoever, being the husband or the relatives of the husband of the woman, subject such woman to a cruelty shall be punished with an imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years, and also liable to pay a fine. And here in this IPC, even cruelty has been defined, where any willful contact which drives the woman to commit a suicide or a grave mental or a physical injury to her, or the harassment of the woman with a view to coerce her for a dowry. And here two IPCs we need to remember, one is 304 BIPC and 498 AIPC. a regular, repetitive physical and psychological abuse by her partner. Here, the mental condition is almost similar to a post-traumatic stress disorder. And here, really a pathetic woman, less talkative, exhibit more amount of fear, and when and where a question has been triggered or on examination, whatever history she suggests to support the injuries, which will not be correlating to any of it, and on the examination, we can able to make sure that the age of the injury will vary from one to another, and in extreme cases, even it may vary from or months, and even there may be presence of old healed fractures also, and maybe a thin-built woman, less talkative and psychologically disturbed woman, belonging to with a history of recent marriage or even lesser than 30 years, you need to suspect a case of a battered wife syndrome. And in part of medical management and psychological therapy are advisable. And here in medical management, in some cases, there may be an intentional starving is also possible. And first and foremost, when you receive a woman, right, and if her vitals are very critical or totally abnormal, a routine hemogram, etc., routine investigations to be done. And if she has been subjected for intentional starving, she may show features of anemia and low glycemic levels, and appropriate treatment to be given. And here, when you talk about psychological therapy, a counseling to be given, and where there will be sleep disturbances will be present, and getting a consultation with a psychiatrist will be handful. And when you suspect, better to register a case as a medical legal case, and if there have been multiple injuries present, document it as by making an IAR copy, and need to inform to the concerned police station, and the individual will be punished under 498 EA IPC for causing cruelty on a woman. And here this is about battered wife syndrome. Coming to the other word, bride burning, right? And most common form of a death in a young newly married woman by the husband or by the in-laws, and it is purely homicidal, where there may be a cruelty, where followed by it has resulted into a state where a woman being helpless, and she finally finds an answer by ending her life. And coming to the other word, right? It is a familiar word to you. It is cognizable offense. Cognizable offense. It means that it upon the warrant from a magistrate. So, in even case of police need not obtain a arrest warrant from a magistrate, he can directly take the persons into custody or for an interrogation, or even in cases where there been an allegation, it can be done. Coming to the procedure part, and same such on the living, there been a cruelty and there been a disparity in injury within a history provided, or the individual is belonging to a less than 35, and if there been allegations or even it has been stated by the female herself, then it is better to register a case as an emergency, and followed by it can be informed to the police officer. And in cases where dead, there been into procedure, it can be divided into two, where handling a living and handling a dead. And first and foremost, we will discuss about handling a living woman who has been subjected to cruelty by the husband or by her in-laws. First and foremost, an RMP where he receives the individual. First and foremost thing, assessing the conscious state of the individual and checking the vitals and other parameters relating. And if she has been received as an unconscious patient, and here unconscious due to it can be due to an injury that has been resulted, or otherwise due to an intentional starving which has been done by the husband or by her relative, by her in-laws. In those cases, better to ask a responsible person who has brought the patient, and if she has been a relative either by her side or on the husband side, their name to be documented, and followed by asking a detailed history. What was the reason began and what was the exact thing has happened. And prior to collecting history and other, looking on the woman and recovering her signs and recovering her, looking for the signs and symptoms and recovering the state is more essential. And on the complete history, a doctor comes to an opinion that it could be a case of a cruelty relating to dowry. Then a doctor should make an entry, possible entry, as a medical legal case, and followed by informing the police officer. And here noting the time, and it not only for an dowry, it also applicable to other cases, noting the time of receivement and documenting the condition of the patient at frequent intervals. And here in extreme cases where if the life of the individual been critical, or there have been a continuous adverse signs have been shown even in spite of a proper medical treatment. In those cases where a doctor should make an arrangement for recording a dying declaration, and indications for dying declaration and others are just refer through. I need not waste the time by repeating the same points. And here the other most important thing, and another scenario where a female is relatively conscious and she can speak out in those circumstances, need not collect any history from the relative, better to collect from the patient herself. And in cases where there should not be any influence by the in-laws, in those circumstances, care should be taken. The patient and the in-laws has not had a discussion just prior, and the doctor should record the statement of the victim to avoid any undue influence being exerted on her. So better to ask a question in private, and if there been a presence of any relatives or others, better to send them off. And monitoring the condition of the patient at frequent intervals is essential, and if the signs have been warning signs have been present, and doctor as a part, be in a case of a medical legal case, he should arrange for a dying declaration. And if there been a case where or otherwise where a patient doesn't state any part of a history, and even the part of a relatives keep quiet or kept quiet by the in-laws, in those circumstances where a doctor can make a provisional MLC entry by seeing the injury pattern, or there been extreme injuries present, and the history, whatever history has been stated, is totally different. So in those cases also a medical officer can inform the police officer relating to the presentation, and here a police can be intervened and they can inquire and they can state the reason. And in cases where extreme cases where a dead woman has been received, and here even according to the definitions provided, right, according to the definitions provided in 304 BIPC, where other than the normal circumstances, where a suspected case of suicide or a suspected murder or otherwise it has been requested by the relatives of the female, or they throw an allegation and they state the past where there been a repeated quarrel between husband and wife, or there been a issue, or there been a cruelty relating to dowry. In those cases, police need to make a necessary consideration, and where the case to be filed under 174 subsection 3 CRPC. And here, when you receive a inquest paper or a referral requisition letter referring to the CRPC, it is a part of an RMP, and where it been an indication, right? It been an indication for a magistrate inquest, right? So magistrate should making a detailed investigation and followed by examining the body, at least the external examination, followed by a magistrate makes the inquest copy. And once those copies are ready, then an RMP can proceed with the proceedings. And there are some additional proceedings, and we will see in next upcoming slides. Remember, a magistrate to be called, and these are other indications for a magistrate. And here, dowry death is one of the reason where without an inquest from the magistrate, a RMP can't proceed with the autopsy. Right? And these are other indications where a death occurring due to a police firing, where disappearance or a death of a person in a police custody or in police interrogation, or in a death of a convict in jail in examination cases, or there have been allegation of a rape or been committed on a woman in a custody of a police officer, or the sixth is dowry death. Right? Dowry death is one of the indications for a magistrate inquest. On the last is death of a mentally ill person in a psychiatric hospital, where these are the list of indications for a magistrate inquest. An inquest paper will be conducted by a magistrate or otherwise of a police officer not below the rank of DSP should file an inquest paper. And here, autopsy should be carried out by a panel of doctors, where it includes two senior most doctors, and to handle a case of a dowry death. And here there are other indications where an autopsy being carried out by two doctors, where a dowry death is been a one such example. Summary: death of a woman within 7 years of her marriage, or the age of a woman is less than 30 years, and a death has been resulted under suspicious circumstances, where an RMP should think of a dowry death. And the most important part, a dying declaration to be sought out, or otherwise a doctor should set up should be ready to document a dying declaration. And point number 3, need to remember of a magistrate inquest. Magistrate inquest is more important. And the other two IPCs you need to remember. One such is 304 BIPC, where it defines dowry death and the punishment. And another IPC 498 AIPC relating to cruelty caused by the husband and the in-laws. And last most important point, on autopsy, the autopsy should be carried out by two doctors or a panel of doctors. The Protection of Women from a Domestic Violence Act, which has been passed or enacted on 2005, has been discussed. And here only the features what are should have been discussed, and only the salient features, not the entire act. First and foremost objective is of this act effective protection of the rights of a woman guaranteed under the Constitution, and who are the victims of a violence of any kind occurring within the family. And here, even it also defines the domestic, and the word domestic violence is defined as all forms of physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, and economic abuse that can harm, cause an injury, endanger the health, safety, life, limb, or well-being, either mental, physical, of an aggrieved person. And here, the words such like economic abuse related to dowry, economic abuse related to the word dowry, and the rest of the physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, all are relating to the uh, either an injury or a physical cruelty which has been caused. And even it can cause an harm, it causes an injury, or even it causes a state of the endangering life situations or life threatening conditions, either mental, physical, or for an aggrieved person. Here, the aggrieved person is being the woman. And the other most important point here is it also states relating to a dowry, right? The economic abuse to meet any unlawful demand of any dowry or on a property or on a valuable security. And here, the main salient feature of this act is not only relating to dowry, but it also includes daughters, mothers, sisters, and the children. And in part of a children, it also explains about male and as well as a female children have been taken into consideration. And also it also includes widowed relative or any woman residing in the household who is related in some way to the respondent. For example, an aggrieved person living along with his sister or living along with his mother, even an injury or an insult is been caused on the mother or the sister of the aggrieved person, the Domestic Violence Act is applicable. And coming to salient features, the salient features where aggrieved wife is not just a wife but a woman who is the sexual partner of a male, irrespective of whether she is a legal wife or not. And here, this point of this is rarity, where only the legal wives have been tortured more in sense. So even in last slide, if you even hear the video or play back the video again, I have mentioned only the legal wife, but the Domestic Violence Act also provides a care towards even whether the marriage status whether it is legal or not also being considered. And here, when a violence has been caused, it is a cognizable and non-bailable offense. And here, the information to the protection officer. Protection officer is nothing but a nodal authority, preferably a woman, and she will be appointed by the state government, and she works at the district headquarters, and every district will have one protection officer, and she will look into all sort of allegations, complaints provided by the victims and the relatives of the victims, and even by the medical officer. And here in case they won't it doesn't mean that the victim should give a complaint. There are some exceptions or circumstances. Even the neighbor of the home can also give a complaint. Uh, to be to be precise, even the third party who is not even the relative to the female can file a complaint, and wherein a protection officer will look into, and she will take an initiative on the behalf of the victim. Right? Remember, I repeat here, the allegations or the complaint need not to be given by the aggrieved person, right, or the affected person, even a complaint that has been registered by the relatives of the woman or any medical officer who is treating the aggrieved person, or even the neighbors, or even the social workers or the relatives can file a complaint in behalf of the victim, and a nodal officer will look into, and she will be taking initiative on the behalf of the victim. And coming to duties of a medical facilities, where a protection officer can guarantee, or there been a 3 person has sustained multiple assault or multiple physical injury, where he can authorize a medical care facility for providing treatment and health care. And here, duties of medical facilities, it also includes not only the government hospitals, even a private hospital should treat the individual. And coming to role of magistrate, where a magistrate can impose a penalty up to 1 year of imprisonment and also a fine up to 20,000 for an offence under this act. And the magistrate has an additional power, and even he can recommend a monetary relief to the aggrieved person. And here, respondent can also made to meet the expenses that have been incurred or a loss suffered by a aggrieved person as a result of a domestic violence. And here, even the uh, remuneration or the relief, a monetary relief, also to be paid for the expenses relating to the medical expenses, or there been a loss of earning by the victim, those also need to be paid back. And here, monthly payment of maintenance also to be provided by the offender to the aggrieved person. Listening, if there been any doubt query relating to the content of the video or the topic that has been discussed, either you can address those issues in the